Here in this video, we will do the haunted houses. But before starting haunted houses, let me go through the MCQs of this chapter. Vishmalochan, the power of music. Vishmalochan Sharma's music spreads from Delhi to Burma. He sings as if he was born to sing. When he sings, the people do not feel calm and peaceful. On hearing Lochan singing, the bullock carts overturn. Which of these lines themselves, along with the roadside on hearing Vishma's voice, horses? The people ask Lochan Sharma to be quiet quickly, mane stop at once. What is Vishma's reaction to the request of the people? He remains unconcerned and continues to sing. What is the reaction of animals on hearing Vishma's bad voice? They run away. Which sound is heard from a mile away? The crashing of trees. The fish sink down in the lake in order to search for silence. How do the fish respond to his singing? They dive to the bottom of the lake. In the sky, the fly turns right. The word winging means flying. The people plead to Vishma that if he didn't stop singing, they would die. Whelking refers to the sky, who comes as a rescue for the victim of who comes as a rescue for the victim of Vishma's tortuous singing, a billy goat. What happened to Vishma's song? Gets high pitched. Vishma finally grants the world a golden piece of silence. The tone of the poem is humorous. The poet of the poem Power of Music is Satyajit Ray. The poem is from his collection Abol Tabol. The singing of Luchan Sharma was overpowering হবে না টিউনলেস হবে? কোনো একটা হবে, এটা দেখতে হবে। The singing of Lochan Sharma was overpowering na tuneless. Several poems in Abol Tabol contain hidden criticism and satire. এটাও দেখতে হবে hidden criticism আর satire কিনা। Next, meanings. Hums মানে to make low continuous murmuring sound without producing words. Here singing. Strain মানে a series of musical phrases that creates a distinct melody of a piece. Staked মানে risked. Hell-bent মানে determined to achieve something at all cost. Dazed, unable to think or react properly, বা bewildered. Amazed, surprised, well meant, in a good or satisfactory way, trampled, stepped heavily on something or someone causing damage or injury. Panic, sudden uncontrollable fear or anxiety, often causing unreasonable thought and action. Rout, defeated and caused to retreat in disorder. Languish, weakened by lacking vitality, to exit in unwanted and unpleasant situation, often for a long time. Pale, light in color or shade, not bright, faint or feeble. Plead, make an emotional appeal. Booming out, to make a very deep and loud hollow sound. Broadside, a fierce verbal attack. ব্রডসাইড ফিয়ার্স ভার্বাল অ্যাটাক, আর এখানে দেখলাম ব্রডসাইড মানে বন্দুকের গুলি, এটা দেখতে হবে তো। wretched, in a very unhappy unfortunate state, expression used to express anger or annoyance. Brutes, a person who's offensive, rude and often violent. Resent, to dislike or be angry at something or someone because you have been hurt or not treated fairly. Blare, Make or cause to make a loud, harsh sound. Whine, a long pitched complaining cry. Confounded, confused, bewildered, or perplexed. Frantic, extremely upset because of anxiety or fear. Collapsed, fall down or give way suddenly. Turn turtle, মানে turn upside down. Winging, মানে travel on wings or by aircraft, মানে fly. Soared, SOARED, soared. Soared মানে increase rapidly above the usual level. মানে fly or rise high up in the air. Grumble, complain about something in a bad tempered way. Welkin, the sky or heaven, কে বলে welkin. Screech, a high shrill piercing cry usually expressing pain or terror. Mighty মানে powerful বা enormous. Mansions, a large imposing residence বা cattle, a castle. Large imposing residence or castle. Tumble, to fall suddenly and helplessly. Sagacious, having or knowing keen mental discernment and good judgment, মানে wise বা shrewd কে বলে sagacious, wise or shrewd. Bellow, মানে emit a deep loud roar in pain or anger. Tossed, মানে thrown somewhere lightly or casually. Whirled, turn something round and round in circles. Blast, a loud sudden sound or noise. Brutal, savagely violent, cruel. Downs, lower or bring to the ground. এবার the meanings of the story the girl who can. Choking, to check or hinder the growth, development or activity. Drought মানে a prolonged period of dryness that causes extreme damage to crops. Edges মানে brink বা margin. Screaming মানে speaking on high note. Calves মানে the fleshy back part of the leg below the knee. Spindly of a disproportionately tall or long and thin appearance that often suggests physical weakness. Creak, to make a prolonged low sound as a result of being worn out. Gleaming, shining, giving off brightness. Which word gives the meaning of the word spindly? Spindly mane thin. Nana believes that a woman's legs should be fleshy. How old was Adjoa? 7 years old. Adjoa's mother's name was Kaya. Coming out of the land of sweet, soft silence into the world of noise is referred to the journey of being born. How far was the school from village? 5 kilometers. Nana's reaction on first hearing about Adjoa's selection? She was furious, she was pleased. She insulted the teacher, she scolded Adjoa badly. এটা দেখতে হবে. Nana carries the cup on her back as a baby because it was precious. Who is the narrator of the story? Adjoa. What was the name of the village where the narrator lived? Hasodzi. Which of the following does not describe the theme of the story? Women having greater role in the society than just giving birth to children. What are Adjoa's main problems? She did not have proper linguistic skills to express herself and her skinny legs. Or Nana's constant nagging in the arguments between her mother and grandmother. না, এইটাই হবে linguistic skill. She did not have proper linguistic skills to express herself and her skinny legs. Why are legs important in the story? They help to break Nana's myth about women. They help Adjoa get selected in district games. Adjoa realizes that legs could be useful in so many ways. Mane all of the above. Next question. Nana felt that school is a wastage of time because education is not important for women as they are born only to bear children and look after the family. Next, which award did Adjoa win in the sports week? Best all-round junior athlete. Without education, Mummy felt empty and void. Nana was pleased at Adjoa's victory and carried her on her back. Nana was pleased and at Adjoa's victory and carried her in her lap হবে বা on her knee হবে, কোনো একটা হবে, ল্যাপ বা নি। ব্যাকে হচ্ছে নানা ট্রফিটা নিয়েছিল। What was Mommy's reaction on Adjoa's victory and Nana's celebration? She remained speechless as usual. According to Nana, women have fleshy legs to support big hips during pregnancy. When Adjoa tried to express her thoughts in words, Nana would tell her never to repeat what she had said. Laugh hysterically, share it with whoever arrived and laughed along with them. All of the above. Next, what does Adjoa win in the district games? A gleaming cup. What does Nana do with Adjoa's school uniform during the sports week? Washed and ironed it. From whom does Nana borrow a charcoal? From Mr. Mensha. Nana would pull out a set of fresh clothes from a big brass bowl. Big brass bowl. Nana's view on school and education for girls was that it was a wastage of time. Haunted Houses. Written by A. Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. All houses wherein men have lived and died are haunted houses. Through the open doors, the harmless phantoms on their errands glide with feel that make no sound upon the floors. বলছে all houses wherein men lived মানে all houses, not just a few, every home according to the poet is haunted, wherein মানে in which men মানে people বা human beings have lived and died মানে ordinary human life has unfolded, their past lives linger. Are haunted houses. Haunted here means filled with memories, presence of the past, not necessarily scary. Plain sense, mane every home has held real lives, carries traces of those lives. Next, through the open doors, the harmless phantoms on their errands glide. Through the open doors মানে entrances are symbolic thresholds. The past can pass in and out. Through the open doors মানে entrances are symbolic thresholds. Harmless phantoms মানে gentle spirits. Entrances গুলো হচ্ছে symbolic threshold, আর এই যে harmless phantoms মানে হচ্ছে gentle spirits, যেগুলো memories or echoes, harmless traces, non-threatening. Harmless means non-threatening. On their errands মানে they seem to have purpose, little missions of remembrance. Glide মানে move smoothly, silently. Plain sense মানে benign, ghostly presence, slip through open doors as if busy with quiet purposes. With feet that make no sound upon the floors, মানে personifies the phantoms. Feet মানে personifies the phantoms, gives them human traits. Make no sound মানে absolute silence. With feet that make no sound upon the floors, মানে feet, it personifies phantoms, giving them human traits. মেক নো সাউন্ড মানে ভূতের কি আর অ্যাকচুয়াল পা থাকে? পা তো থাকতে পারে না, সেই জন্যই উইথ ফিট দ্যাট মেক নো সাউন্ড আপন দ্য ফ্লোরস মানে দ্য ফ্যান্টমস আর পার্সনিফাইড গিভিং দেম হিউম্যান ট্রেটস, ভূতদেরকে হিউম্যান ট্রেট দিয়ে দিচ্ছে। মেকিং নো সাউন্ড মানে অ্যাবসলিউট সাইলেন্স ইজ দেয়ার। আপন দ্য ফ্লোরস মানে রাইট ওয়্যার লিভিং পিপল ট্রিড past and present overlap here. Plain sense মানে they move beside us but noiselessly, silently. Next, we meet them at the doorway on the stair. We মানে includes all of us, anyone attentive can sense this. Meet them মানে feel their presence, encounter them or feel their presence. Doorway stair মানে লাইমিনাল প্লেসেস, LIMINA, লাইমিনাল মানে কিন্তু আমি জানি না। লাইমিনাল প্লেসেস মানে বিটুইন রুমস অর লেভেলস ফিটিং ফর ইন বিটুইন বিইংস। লাইমিনাল প্লেসেস মানে বিটুইন রুমস অর লেভেলস ফিটিং ফর ইন বিটুইন বিইংস। প্লেন সেন্স মানে at thresholds in the house we sense their presence. At thresholds in the house we sense their presence. Along the passages they come and go. Passages মানে corridors and subtly passage of time. Come and go মানে continual, rhythmic movement. Memories return and recede. Plain sense মানে they move back and forth through the house like time itself. Next, impalpable impressions on the air. Impalpable মানে can't be touched. Impressions মানে faint mark or traces. In the air মানে so light they are like a mood or a scent. Plain sense মানে what they leave is intangible, more a feeling than a thing. Impalpable মানে যেটাকে টাচ করা যায় না, something that cannot be touched. Impressions মানে faint marks or traces. On the air মানে so light they are like a mood or a scent. Plain sense মানে what they leave is intangible, more a feeling than a thing. Next, a sense of something moving to and fro. A sense মানে perception, intuition. To and fro মানে back and forth, again that ebb or flow of recollection. Back and forth, again that ebb. টাইডের থাকে না, হাই টাইড এন্ড ইব, সেটাই বলছে again that ebb. ব্যাক অ্যান্ড ফোর্থ মানে টু অ্যান্ড ফ্রো মানে ব্যাক অ্যান্ড ফোর্থ, again that ebb or flow of recollection. Plain sense মানে just feel motion around you, nothing solid but real to the senses. It appeals to the senses but nothing solid can be seen. Nothing solid can be seen or touched. There are more guests at the table than the hosts invited. More guests মানে unseen company. Table মানে family gathering, daily family gathering মানে at the table. Hosts invited, the leaving only invited, some others are present uninvited. Plain sense মানে when we gather the past sits with us. The illuminating hall is thronged with quiet, inoffensive ghosts. Illuminated hall মানে the brightly lit hall. Daylight doesn't banish them. Memory coexists with light. Brightly lit মানে daylight doesn't banish them. Memory coexists with light. Thronged মানে crowded, full. Quiet inoffensive ghosts মানে again not malevolent, just present. Plain sense মানে even in bright lit rooms, the house is crowded with gentle presence. As silent as the pictures on the wall. Simile, ghost silence, the silence of portraits or paintings. Pictures on the wall মানে images of the past that watch silently. Plain sense মানে they are quite absolute, like mute portraits that still contain lives. মানে they are quiet is absolute, like mute portraits that still contain lives. কি বললো all houses মানে প্রথম সেন্টেন্সটার মানে হচ্ছে প্লেইন সেন্স এতক্ষণ বলছিলাম না, মানে প্রথম এক কথায় যেটাকে বলে এভরি হোম দ্যাট হ্যাজ হেল্ড রিয়েল লাইফস ক্যারিজ ট্রেসেস অফ দোজ লাইফস। তারপরের ইয়েতে বলছে বিনাইন গোস্টস, BENIGN, বিনাইন গোস্টস প্রেজেন্ট স্লিপ থ্রু open doorways as if busy with quiet purposes. Next, they move beside us but noiselessly. At thresholds in the house, we sense their presence. Next, they move back and forth through the house like time itself. What they leave is intangible, more a feeling than a thing. You just feel motion around you, nothing solid but real to the senses. When we gather, the past seats with us. Even in bright rooms, the house is crowded with gentle presence. Their quiet is absolute. Their quietness is absolute, like mute portraits that still contain lives. Next, the stranger at my fireside cannot see. Stranger মানে someone who doesn't share your memories or sensitivities. Fireside মানে intimate domestic space. Cannot see মানে lacks access to your inner gallery of the past. The stranger at my fireside cannot see. মানে someone who doesn't share your memories, that person lacks access to the inner gallery of the past. A visitor in my house doesn't perceive what the visitor in the house doesn't perceive what the inmates perceive. The forms I see nor hear, the sounds I hear. So that person, that guest, neither the visitor neither sees the figures nor hears the echoes that the poet perceives. Forms money shapes of figures, mental figures of former occupants, remembered senses. They are remembered uh, the mental images of the former occupants. They are perceived senses. Sounds মানে কি echoes of voices, footsteps, laughter, auditory memory. Nor মানে not this, not that, total absence for the stranger. They neither see the figures nor hear the echoes I perceive. Next, he but perceives what is, while unto me মানে he but মানে he only perceives what is, he registers only the literal present. While unto me মানে whereas to me, he is limited to the present, but I experience more. All that has been in is visible and clear. All that has been money, the entire past connected to this place. Visible and clear money as if present, sharp and undeniable. For me, the past stands out vividly as if I can see it. তাহলে এই গোটা স্ট্যান্সাটা কি বললো? Houses are haunted by memory, by the ordinary human past, not by human past. The sensitive minds feels this, others notice nothing. Gentle, reflective tone is there, harmless, quiet, inoffensive. Keep it tender rather than scary. That the presence of the ghost is tender, mild. The reader has tender feelings for the ghost rather than he feels, or the reader doesn't feel scary. The ghosts are not scary, they are rather tender. Devices, repetition. Come and go, I see, I hear. Simile, mane silent as the pictures. Personification. Repetition, come and go, I see, I hear, regular repetition. Simile ki silent as the pictures. Personification ki memories with feet. Liminal spaces mane doorways, stairs, to embody the border between past and present. Next, we have no title deeds or to house or lands, owners and occupants of earlier dates. From graves forgotten stretch their dusty hands and hold in mortmain still their old estates. The spirit world around this world of sense floats like an atmosphere and everywhere. Wrapped through these earthly mists and vapors dense, a vital breath of more ethereal air. Your lines read earlier dates, mortmains, oldest dates, spirit world and world of sense. The poem intends earlier dates, mortmain মানে যাই হোক এগুলো হচ্ছে we have no title deeds to house or lands, meaning we have no মানে we possess none. Title deeds মানে legal documents proving ownership, মানে we do not have any legal documents proving ownership to house or lands, মানে the dwellings and the property we claim. এটার মানে হলো human ownership is provisional, nothing we hold is absolutely ours. তাই না? Human ownership is provisional, nothing we hold is actually absolutely ours. কোনো জিনিসই যেটা আমাদের আছে সেটা কিন্তু পুরোপুরি আমাদের নয়, আমাদের ফোর ফাদার্স এর কিছু না কিছু তাতে রয়েই গেছে। ইমেজারি অ্যান্ড ডিভাইস কি ইমেজারি? ওনারশিপ ফ্রেমড ইন লিগাল টার্মস, এটা হচ্ছে এক্সটেন্ডেড মেটাফর। অ্যালিটারেশন কি? সফট এইচ ইন দ্য হাউস হ্যাভ, হাউস আর হ্যাভ। Meter, iambic pentameter gives a measured judicial cadence. Next, owners and occupants of earlier dates, মানে past proprietors and residents, people from earlier times. Those who came before us once held the same claims. ইমেজারি আর ডিভাইস কি ব্যবহার হয়েছে? প্যারালালস, ওনার্স, অকিউপেন্টস, ব্যালেন্সেস, লিগাল ভার্সাস লিভড পজিশন। অ্যালিটারেশন, ও ও সাউন্ড, echo. From graves forgotten stretch their dusty hands. From graves forgotten মানে from long neglected burial places. Stretch their dusty hands মানে the dead reach out figuratively. সেন্স মানে মেইন মিনিংটা হচ্ছে দ্য পাস্ট রিচেস ফরওয়ার্ড টু অ্যাসার্ট ইটস ক্লেম। এবার ইমেজারি আর ডিভাইস কি? পার্সনিফিকেশন এন্ড ভিজুয়াল ইমেজ। ডেড হ্যান্ডস ফিজিক্যালি রিচিং। ট্যাকটাইল ডিটেল মানে ডাস্টি মেক্স দ্য ইমেজ গ্রিটি, অ্যানশিয়েন্ট। alliteration কি? graves forgotten, dusty, d in graves forgotten, g alliteration, dusty d, ম্যাকাবার আইরনিটা কি? দ্য ফরগটেন আর দ্য ওয়ান স্টিল অ্যাক্টিভ। Next, and hold in Mortmain still their old estates. Hold মানে retain, keep possession. Mortmain মানে হচ্ছে dead hand. মট ফ্রেঞ্চ ওয়ার্ড দুটো, MORT, মট, MAIN, মানে a legal term for property held in a way that keeps it from changing hands. Here it is a pun. The dead literally hold it. একটা legal document of a property that the dead are holding it still, মানে even now. এখনো তারা ধরে আছে। ওল্ড এস্টেটস মানে দেয়ার ফর্মার প্রপার্টিজ, এস্টেট মানে প্রপার্টি, ফর্মার প্রপার্টিজ, সেন্স দ্য ডেড, মানে এটার মানে হচ্ছে দ্য ডেড বাই কাস্টম মেমোরি এন্ড হিস্ট্রি keep a grip on what we think is ours. The dead by custom memory and history keep a grip on everything on of what we think is ours. The law of the dead actually governs the living people. Next, the spirit world around this world of sense, মানে realm of immaterial. World of sense মানে the physical world perceived by senses. Sense মানে two worlds coexist, spiritual and material world. Next, imagery and devices. Antithesis আর juxtaposition এখানে spirit versus sense. Polypton or repetition মানে world binds the two realms. Conceptual image মানে a large unseen sphere enclosing the screen. এবার বলছে floats like an atmosphere and everywhere. Floats like an atmosphere একটা simile. The spirit realm envelops us as air does. Everywhere মানে সব জায়গায় এটা প্রেজেন্ট, it's omnipresent. Enjambment from মানে from the previous line sustains the breath like flow. Next, wafts through these earthly mists and vapors dense. Wafts মানে move gently like a scent or breeze. Earthly mist or vapor dense মানে the heavy fog of material life. Confusion, routine, bodily concern. Sense মানে the spiritual breath gently penetrates our thick world obscurities. এবার imagery কি? The spiritual breath gently penetrates our thick worldly obscurities. এবার imagery, olfactory devices. Olfactory imagery মানে rafts, mists, vapors, এতে গন্ধ হয়, olfactory. Metaphor কেন? Ignorance or materiality as fog. Sibilance মানে soft sounds. Mimic, হাসি, airflow. Next, a vital breath of more ethereal air. Meaning vital breath মানে life giving spirit. More ethereal air মানে a purer, subtler atmosphere. Spiritual plane. Sense, what animates us is not just oxygen but a finer spiritual animus. মানে মানেটা হচ্ছে what animates us is not just oxygen but a finer spiritual animus. Metaphor কি? Spirit as breath or air. Climax key ends the octave by naming the enlivening force. Alliteration, air, atmosphere. Dusty hands মানে earth to ethereal air মানে sky. Next. মেটাফিজিক্যাল ওনারশিপ বুঝিয়েছে, হ্যাঁ, টাইটেল ডিডস, মঠ মেইন, এস্টেটস, এগুলো সব হচ্ছে মেটাফিজিক্যাল ওনারশিপ। লিটারাল লেয়ার উইথ লিটারাল লট উইথ মেটাফিজিক্যাল ওনারশিপ। গ্রেভ কাউন্টার ব্যালেন্সিং ইমেজারি মানে গ্রেভ, ডাস্ট, আর্থ সবই মাটির, ভার্সাস এয়ার, অ্যাটমসফিয়ার, ইথিরিয়াল। ভার্টিক্যাল মুভমেন্ট ফ্রম গ্রাউন্ড টু স্কাই। এবার থিমটা কি এটার মানে, দ্য লিভিং নেভার wholly own the world. We dwell amid the claims, memories, and spirits of those before us. The spiritual realm pervades and refines the material one. Next, lives are kept in equipoise by opposite attractions and desires. The struggle of the instinct that enjoys and more noble instinct that aspires. Our lives are kept in equipoise by opposite attractions and desire, the struggle of the instinct that enjoys and the more noble instinct that aspires. These perturbations, this perpetual jar of earthly wants and aspirations high, come from the influence of an unseen star, an undiscovered planet in our sky. Lives money refers to human lives in general. Are kept money are maintained, held in certain state. In equipoise money balance. In a state of equality between forces. From Latin equus, equal, pondus, money weight. By opposite attractions and desires through the pool of conflicting emotions or motives. Some pulling us one way, some the other. Meaning of the line, human lives remain balanced because we are pulled in two different directions by opposing forces, our wants and our inner deals. এবার মেটাফর এখানে আছে একটা, লাইফ কম্পেয়ার টু আ স্কেল হেল্ড ইন ব্যালেন্স। ইমেজারি কি, দ্য মেন্টাল পিকচার অফ টু অপোজিট পুলস কিপিং সামথিং স্টেডি, দুদিক দিয়ে টানছে যেটা। Pulling from both the directions, lives remain balanced because we are pulled in two different directions by opposing forces, our wants and our inner deals. Next line, the struggle of the instinct that enjoys and the more noble instinct that aspires. A struggle mane conflict, competition between forces. Of the instinct that enjoys mane the natural tendency in humans to seek pleasure, comfort, and enjoyment. And the more noble instinct that aspires money and the higher, more dignified tendency in humans to strive towards ideas, virtue, and self improvement. Ever meaning the balance is caused by a constant internal conflict. One part of us craves pleasure while another nobler part aims for something higher and purer. This balance is caused by a constant internal conflict. One part of us craves pleasure, while another nobler part aims for something higher and purer. Poetic device এখানে কি কি ইউজ হয়েছে? Enjoys versus aspires. Personification কেন? Instincts are given human qualities of struggling. Parallelism কেন? The grammatical structure of the instinct. এটা দরকার নেই। Next, these perturbations. This perpetual jar of earthly wants and aspirations high. বলছে এই যে পারটারবেশন মানে ডিস্টারবেন্স, ফ্লাকচুয়েশন, চেঞ্জেস, this perpetual jar মানে constant jarring or clashing, jar here means disagreement, conflict, এই যে কনফ্লিক্টটা, এই যে ডিস্টারবেন্স, ফ্লাকচুয়েশন, কনফ্লিক্ট, এই যে কনস্ট্যান্ট জ্যারিং, ক্ল্যাশিং এগুলো চলছে অফ আর্থলি ওয়ান্টস মানে ডিজায়ার্স ফর material worldly things and aspirations high মানে elevated hopes, মানে this inner disturbance, the ongoing clash between the worldly desires and the lofty ideals is always present in human life. একদিকে ওয়ার্ল্ডলি ডিজায়ার আর একদিকে লফটি আইডিয়ালস। পারপিচুয়াল পারটারবেশনস মানে পি সাউন্ড মানে রিপিটেড পি সাউন্ড, অ্যালিটারেশন। মেটাফর কেন? কনফ্লিক্ট অফ আইডিয়াস কম্পেয়ার টু আ মেকানিক্যাল জারিং। juxtaposition কি? earthly wants versus aspirations high. Next, come from the influence of unseen stars and undiscovered planet in our sky. Come from মানে originate from, the influence মানে the effect of power over us, of an unseen star মানে of a celestial body that cannot be observed directly, an undiscovered planet মানে a planet unknown to science, in our sky মানে in the universe we see above us. Meaning of the line: the poet metaphorically says that these internal conflicts may be caused by some hidden mysterious cosmic influence like an unknown planet shaping human destiny. Next, the overall idea of the extract. The poet is portraying life as a delicate balance between two opposite instincts, one seeking pleasure and one seeking higher ideals. This creates an inner struggle that never stops, like a cosmic force influencing us from beyond our awareness. The unseen star is a poetic way of hinting that there are mysterious, possibly spiritual or cosmic causes behind human behavior. Next, as the moon from the dark gate of cloud throws over the sea a floating bridge of light, across whose trembling planks our fancies crowd into the realm of mystery and night. বলছে as the moon from the dark gate of cloud, এটা হচ্ছে links this image to the previous thought in the poem, continuation. A comparison এখানে আনা হয়েছে, the celestial body, the moon, a gentle guiding light at night. Metaphor plus personification, কেন না dark gate of cloud, clouds are a gate and dark suggests mystery, obstruction. বলছে just as the moon emerges from a gate, a dark gate like opening in the clouds. মেটাফর অ্যান্ড পার্সনিফিকেশন কি? গেট অফ ক্লাউড। ভিজুয়াল ইমেজারি কি? ডার্ক মুন, ক্লাউড। এবার বলছে থ্রোজ ওভার দ্য সি আ ফ্লোটিং ব্রিজ অফ লাইট, মানে কাস্ট ডায়নামিক পার্সনিফিকেশন অফ দ্য মুন। মুনটাকে কিন্তু এখানে পার্সনিফাই করে দিয়েছে। ওভার দ্য সি মানে দ্য লাইট স্প্যান্স ওয়াটার, মানে a floating bridge of light মানে extended metaphor এটা। The moon path on water looks like a bridge. The moon path on water looks like a bridge. Floating stresses its insubstantial wavering nature, মানে যেটা পার্মানেন্ট কিছু না, floating stresses its insubstantial wavering nature of the bridge of light. It might মানে হচ্ছে it casts across the sea a shining path that looks like a floating bridge. মুনকে পার্সনিফাই করে দিয়েছে। across whose trembling planks are fancies crowd. trembling planks মানে যে প্ল্যাঙ্কটা কিন্তু নড়বড়ে, শক্ত নয়, কংক্রিট নয়। across whose মানে রিলেটিভ ক্লজ, মডিফাইং ব্রিজ, হুজ মানে অফ দ্য ব্রিজ। তো ব্রিজটা এটাও মানে পার্সনিফাই করে দিয়েছে। দ্য ট্রেমলিং প্ল্যাঙ্কস মানে কন্টিনিউ, মানে ট্রেমলিং মানে পার্সনিফাইজ দ্য রিপলিং লাইট অর শেকি বোর্ডস। শেকি বোর্ডসটাকে বলছে ট্রেমলিং প্ল্যাঙ্কস, SHAKY, শেকি বোর্ড, BOARD, বোর্ড। আর ফ্যান্সিজ মানে আর ইমাজিনেশনস, ডে ড্রিমস, থটস। ক্রাউড মানে ভার্ব, gathered densely, pressed forward, personification of fancies as people. কি বলছে? আর imaginations hurry across that shaky plank like path of light. কাইনেস্থেটিক ইমেজারি মানে ট্রেমব্লিং, পার্সনিফিকেশন কি? ফ্যান্সিজ, ক্রাউড, এটা পার্সনিফিকেশন। এক্সটেন্ডেড মেটাফর কি? ব্রিজ উইথ প্ল্যাঙ্কস। এক্সটেন্ডেড মেটাফর হলো ব্রিজ উইথ প্ল্যাঙ্কস, পার্সনিফিকেশন হলো ফ্যান্সিজ, ক্রাউড, কিনেস্থেটিক ইমেজারি মানে ট্রেমব্লিং। নেক্সট, ইনটু দ্য রেলম অফ মিস্ট্রি অ্যান্ড নাইট। ইনটু মানে মুভমেন্ট টুয়ার্ডস, the realm মানে metaphor for a domain or kingdom. Of mystery and night মানে mysterious night, also metonymy for unknown or unseen, heading into the domain that is dark and unknown. Metaphor মানে realm, হেন্ডিয়াডিস মানে মিস্ট্রি অ্যান্ড নাইট, এটাকে হেন্ডিয়াডিস বলছে, এটা একটা ডিভাইস, HENDIADYS। মুড মানে অ্যাটমসফেরিক ইমেজারি, কি অ্যাটমসফেরিক ইমেজারিটা কি? ডার্কনেস, দি আননোন। সো ফ্রম দ্য ওয়ার্ল্ড অফ স্পিরিটস দে আর, এর পরের লাইনটা কি? সো ফ্রম দ্য ওয়ার্ল্ড অফ স্পিরিটস দে আর ডিসেন্টস। সো কমপ্লিটস দি আর্লিয়ার কম্প্যারিজন। ফ্রম দ্য ওয়ার্ল্ড অফ স্পিরিটস মানে দি ইমেটেরিয়াল গোস্টলি রেলম, আফটার লাইফ। দে আর ডিসেন্টস মানে কামস ডাউন। তারপর কি বলছে? A bridge of light connecting it with this mirrors the moon bridge, metaphor for a link between the realms. Connecting it with this মানে world of spirits or physical world, the bridge links them. A luminous bridge that links the spirit world to our world. Over whose unsteady floor that sways and bends. Over whose মানে relative clause again, modifying bridge. Unsteady floor মানে the bridge's deck. Unstable মানে our tenuous contact with the unseen. That sways and bends মানে motion verbs suggest fragility and changeability. Over this unstable shifting bridge. কাইনাস্থেটিক ইমেজারি, কাইনাস্থেটিক ইমেজারি আছে এখানে। এক্সটেন্ডেড মেটাফর যেমন ব্রিজ ডিটেলস। সাউন্ড প্যাটার্নিং মানে সফট সিবিলেন্স, সোয়েজ, এकोज, সোয়িং, এইসব। কাইনাস্থেটিক ইমেজারি হচ্ছে মুভমেন্ট অ্যান্ড ইনস্টেবিলিটি, এটাকে কাইনাস্থেটিক ইমেজারি বলছে। Next word sentence. Wander our thoughts over the dark abyss. Wander মানে verb placed before subject means our thoughts wander. Human mind or imagination wander over the dark abyss মানে the great unknown. Death, afterlife, ultimate mystery. Our thoughts roam above the vast darkness of the unknown. What does the word little symbolize? Little symbolizes the lives of ordinary human beings, individual human existence in the past universe. The adjective little emphasizes how small and fragile human life is when compared to grand scale of creation and cosmic forces. Next question. How is our life balanced? Our life is kept in equipoise. মানে perfect balance by the counteraction of two opposite pools, the urge for worldly pleasures and the urge for higher noble aspirations. These opposite forces keep our existence in a state of tension, but also prevent us from completely giving into either extreme. Then, opposite forces keep our existence in a state of tension, but also prevent us from completely giving in to either extreme. Next question: what are the contrasting forces that try to disbalance our life? The two contrasting forces are natural craving for physical comfort, pleasure, and material satisfaction. The instinct that aspires mane the nobler impulse that strives for spiritual growth, self-improvement and higher ideals. Next, describe the quality of two instincts that are highlighted in this stanza. The instinct that enjoys is earthly, self-centered, and rooted in bodily needs or pleasure. The instinct that aspires is noble, selfless, and directed towards moral, intellectual, and spiritual elevation. Next, what has the poet said about the earthly desires and ambitions that humans possess? The poet calls them perturbations and perpetual jar, meaning they constantly disturb the mind and the inner and create inner conflict. Earthly desires and lofty ambitions pull us in different directions, causing a never ending struggle within. Next question. To what does the poet owe the cause of these wants and aspirations? The poet attributes these conflicting wants and aspirations to the influence of an unseen star, described as an undiscovered planet in our sky. এইটাকে বলছে এই যে কনফ্লিক্ট তাকে the poet attributes these conflicting wants and aspirations to the influence of an unseen star described as an undiscovered planet in our sky. This suggests that some mysterious, perhaps cosmic, spiritual force beyond our knowledge influences human nature, keeping us in a state of inner tension and striving. Next question. Whom does we refer to in this stanza? We refers to living human beings in the present world, people who are alive and moving in the world of sense. Next, what do we not possess? We have no legal title or ownership to the house or lands in an absolute sense. Even if we seem to own them now, we are only temporary occupants. The real lasting owners are the dead, whose possessions we inherit for a while. Next question. Explain the line from graves forgotten stretch their dusty hands. This is a metaphor. It means the dead from long forgotten graves still have a claim on the land, property, or wealth they once owned. Dusty hands symbolize the remains of those who have returned to dust, but metaphorically reach out to hold onto their estates through legal or historical rights. What is mortmain? In what context is that word used here? Mortmain literally means dead hand. In legal terms, it refers to the permanent possession of property, but property by an institution like the church or by someone who is deceased without it passing on to new owners. Here it is used figuratively. The poet says that the dead, through mortmain, still hold their old estates, symbolizing the spiritual hold of the past over the present. Which two worlds does the poet refer to? The world of sense, our physical, material reality experienced through our senses. The world of sense mane our physical, material reality experienced through our senses. The spirit world mane the unseen realm of the dead and spiritual beings. How are these two worlds connected? The poet says the spirit world floats around the world of sense like an atmosphere. They are intertwined. and the presence of the dead and unseen spirits surround and influence the living world. Next question: what role do the mists and vapors play for the spiritual world? Mists and vapors are a metaphor for the veil of material life that obscures our view of the spirit world. They make it harder for living people to perceive the spiritual presence around them. Next, describe the visual imagery used by Longfellow in the stanza. Stretch their dusty hands. Money evokes a haunting image of skeletal, earth-covered hands emerging from forgotten graves. Next, floats like an atmosphere. Etar মানে কি? Makes us imagine a ghostly layer enveloping the living world. Next, এটা কি? Wrapped through earthly mists মানে suggests gentle, almost invisible movement of spirits through a hazy, dimly lit landscape. Vital breath of more ethereal air creates a sensory contrast between heavy earthly air and the light pure breath of the spirit world. Next, what does the poet find unusual at the table? The poet finds it unusual that there are more guests at the table than the hosts had invited. These extra guests are not living people, but the spirits of those who once lived there. Next question: how do the uninvited guests behave in the illuminated hall? The uninvited ghostly guests behave quietly and inoffensively. They are described as being as silent as the pictures on the wall, meaning they cause no disturbance and simply exist alongside the living without interfering. Next question: which figure of speech has been used to describe these ghosts? As silent as the pictures on the wall is a simile, comparing the quietness of the ghosts to the stillness of wall pictures. Next question: in what way does the speaker differentiate himself from the stranger by the fireside? The speaker implies that while the stranger might not notice the presence of spirits or connect with them, he himself can sense and even feel at home with these unseen presences. The stranger lives only in the material world, but the speaker feels an affinity within the spiritual one. Next, the speaker seems to be closer to the world of spirits. How do the readers realize this? What could be the reason for it? Readers realize the speaker's closeness to the spiritual world because he perceives the ghosts naturally without fear or surprise and speaks of them as part of daily life. He notices their quiet company and seems at ease among them. The reason for this could be he believes that past and present are connected and human souls linger in familiar places. He might have a sensitive, imaginative, and spiritual temperament that makes him aware of presences others miss. He possibly views death not as an end but as a continuation of life in a different form. What are haunted houses as per the poet? According to the poet, haunted houses are simply ordinary houses where people have lived and died. They are not necessarily spooky in the ghost story sense, but are filled with unseen presence of those who once occupied them. The poet uses haunted to mean still inhabited by the spirits or memories of the past. Why are they referred to so? They are called haunted because the spirits of former inhabitants are imagined to still dwell there. The spirits silently move through the rooms, continuing their errands as if life still goes on for them in another realm. What does the word fathom imply? Fathom is used poetically as a measure of depth, but in the phrase the humblest fathoms on their errands glide, Longfellow likely uses it metaphorically to mean the souls or beings who exist in the hidden depths beyond the reach of our senses. Fathoms here refers to deep, unseen presences. Next, what does the word fathom imply? Fathom means a ghost or spirit. Phantom, fathom na, phantom. Phantoms here refers to deep unseen. Phantom means ghost, spirit, the immaterial form of someone who once lived. In this poem, phantoms are the souls of the dead who still seem to inhabit the house. Next question, whom does it refer to in the poem? It refers to the spirits of the people who once lived in those houses but have passed away. What good quality do they possess? The poet calls them the humblest phantoms, suggesting modesty, peacefulness, and quiet respect. They do not frighten or harm anyone. They simply go about their ghostly errands quietly. How do these phantoms move around? They glide silently with feet that make no sound upon their floors. Their movement is smooth, noiseless, and almost unnoticed. Where can one find these phantoms? They can be found inside houses where people once lived and died, especially in the quiet, familiar rooms of such homes. Next question, how do they sense their presence through our mysterious, intuitive feeling and awareness that the place still holds the spirit or memory of the past residents? The haunting is more emotional and atmospheric presence than physical sight. The haunting of those spirits is more emotional and their atmospheric presence felt is more lively than the physical sight, but holds more importance than the physical sight. Are the occupants of the house able to see these phantoms? No. The living occupants cannot see them directly. Next question, how does the poet include the moon in the mystery of the spiritual world? The poet compares moonlight to a bridge that seems to connect the earthly world with the unknown, mysterious realm. Just as moonlight creates a shimmering path across the sea, so there is a symbolic bridge of light from the spiritual world to our world. This makes the eternal world and the earthly world. The bridge of light creates a shimmering path between the earthly world and the eternal world. This makes the moon part of the mystery. It becomes a guide or doorway to the unseen world. Next question. The beautiful image of the moonlight. The poet imagines moonlight breaking through a gap in the dark clouds and casting a silvery path on the sea. This path is like a floating bridge, fragile and trembling on the water's surface. It is described as through our fancies, imaginative thoughts. Fancies মানে ব্র্যাকেটের মধ্যে লিখেছি imaginative thoughts could walk across it into the realm of mystery and night. The imagery blends natural beauty with sense of entering a hidden mystical dimension. Next question. On what path do our fancies travel and where does it lead? Our fancies travel on the moonlight's bridge, a shining, delicate path formed over the sea. Symbolically, this path leads to the realm of mystery and night, meaning the unknown spiritual world that lies beyond ordinary human perception. Next question. Where do our thoughts wander and how do they reach there? Our thoughts wander above the dark, Abyss, meaning beyond the depth of the unknown or the void of the unseen world. They reach there by crossing the unsteady floor of the bridge of light, which sways and bends like moonlight reflected on moving water, symbolizing how fragile and uncertain our connection with the spiritual realm is. Next question, symbolism of images. Symbolize the fragile, delicate, and uncertain nature of our imagination or connection to the spiritual world. Just like moonlight quivers on the water, our thoughts are unstable and easily disturbed when exploring the unknown. Our dark abyss key symbolize the great unknown mystery or the infinite depth of spiritual world which we cannot fully see or understand. এবার stanza one's meaning. The phantoms in H.W. Longfellow's poem are souls who roam about in our homes, where they lived earlier and stayed in our memories. He begins his poem with a bold statement that houses which have ever been occupied by men and they have died, they are our haunted houses. But the spirits who haunt these houses is harmless. Houses are harmless, they are invisible, and they glide around silently, making no noise with their feet. These spirits move around the entire house for small purposes and do not interfere with the present occupants and their tasks. They just share the space with the men. These men feel the ghosts at different places in the house, but it simply feels as if something is moving in the air. Next, we meet Theke and to and fro. In the second stanza, the poet has discussed the movement and the behavior of the spirits. First stanza কি হলো? Phantoms in H.W. Longfellow's poem are soul who roam about in our homes, যেখানে তারা আগে থাকতো and stayed in our memories. He begins his poem with a bold statement that houses which have ever been occupied by men and they have died there are haunted houses. সেই জন্য but the spirits who haunt these houses there তারা harmless, তারা invisible, they glide around silently making no noise with their feet. সেই spirit গুলো move around the entire house for small purposes and do not interfere with the present occupants and their tasks. They just share the space with the men. These men feel the ghosts at different places in the houses, but it simply feels as if something is moving in the air. মনে হয় যেন কিছু একটা হাওয়ায় ঘুরছে। We meet থেকে to and fro. In the second stanza, the poet has discussed the movement and the behavior of the spirits. Second stanza, poet discuss করেছে movement and behavior এই spiritদের. Longfellow says that we can meet the spirits in the stairways. আমরা এই spiritদেরকে stairways এ পাই. Along the passages where those were living before, সেই passage গুলো এদেরকে পাই যেখানে তারা আগে থাকতো. Who are living move সেই the along the passages where those who are living move, যারা জীবিত মানুষ যেখান দিয়ে তারা যাতায়াত করে সেই সব প্যাসেজেসই দেখতে পাওয়া যায়. As these ghosts are invisible to the human eye, only their movement can be sensed. Longfellow's use of passages and doorways in the poem could also be a symbol for the various phases of man's lives. These ghosts are with the readers during all transitions of their life and they leave their impressions as intangible beings. এই ghost গুলো কন্টিনিউই আছে doing all transitions of their life, মানুষের during all the transitions of their life, যতজন প্রেজেন্ট অকুপেন্টস আছে তাদের সমস্ত ট্রানজিশনস অফ লাইফের সাথে সাথে গোস্ট গুলোও থাকে and they leave their impressions as intangible beings. এবার বলছে পরের স্ট্যান্সায়, in this stanza Longfellow has considered the ghost as uninvited guest at the table along with other guests. There are more guests than the occupants of the house and their number is big. Occupants of the house এর সাথে আরো গেস্ট আছে আর তাদের নাম্বার প্রচুর. The hall where they meet is beautifully lit. যেই হলে তাদের দেখা হয় সেই হলটা খুব লিট. The uninvited guests, that is, the ghosts, are absolutely silent and cause no harm or do not interfere in the tasks of the uninvited guests হচ্ছে absolutely silent, কোনো harm করে না, interfere in the task of the hosts. They do not trouble the other guestদেরকেও জ্বালায় না. That is why they go unnoticed for by everyone. তাই তাদেরকে কেউ দেখতেও পায় না. They make no attempt of getting the attention of the living ones. তারা চেষ্টাও করে না leaving their attention power. The poet has for this reason made use of simile to describe these invisible ghosts. He compares them to the silent pictures on the walls. এটা stanza 3. এবার stanza 4 এ কি হলো? The fourth stanza refers to a stranger who is sitting by the fireside at the house of the speaker. Here, the speaker mentions that only the speaker can see the phantoms roaming in the house. The stranger is immune to their presence. মানে stranger is oblivious of their presence. Immune জানি না বাবা, oblivious of their presence. He can neither see any ghost nor hear any sound. A thought may arise in the reader's mind that the speaker may be imagining things, and probably the guest exists only in his mind or memory. Between the stranger and the speaker, the poet has shown the speaker having a stronger power of sensing the presence of ghosts in the houses. The stranger can only perceive the ghosts, but the speaker can see them and hear his sound. The speakers seem to have extraordinary skill, unlike the normal human beings. We have taken old estates. Here the poet talks from the perspective of the ghost. These ghosts are the spirits. এবার পোয়েট এইখানে গোস্টের পার্সপেক্টিভে বলছে যে গোস্ট গুলো স্পিরিট অফ দ্য ডেড পিপল হু হ্যাভ লিভড ইন দিজ হাউসেস. After their death, they have been living in these houses, yet they own no property claims. They do not have any written documents proclaiming their ownership of their house. Their houses have now been taken from them by the occupants who are living there. The people seem to have forgotten them, though maybe they may be still holding the property papers in their dusty hands. But the poet wants to state that after their life, the ghosts have no attachment for the materialistic objects. The ghosts do not bear any worldly desires. Thus, the poet has hinted at man's love for the material pleasure during his lifetime. Once he dies, all these things stop mattering to him. The ghosts are content with the ways things are contented. Next, stanza 6. Longfellow in this stanza joins the connection between the physical world of the human beings with the spiritual world of the phantoms. He says that the spirit float around the human world like an atmosphere. Both the worlds, as per the poet, are tied together and they coexist. The way the air engulfs the earth, similarly, the dead world engulfs the living world. The mist and vapors cover this earth, and it is through these that the spirits enter into the human dimensions. The extremely delicate and light layer of air forms a passage for the spirits into the human world. Next, the poet stanza 7. The poet focuses how shift now shifts to the living human world. Says that their life is short and during this little life, they try to balance their life by fighting a battle against their desires and temptations, the ones that keep attracting the human beings towards themselves. There is a constant strife of the instincts when men try to rise higher in their lives or try to achieve greatness. Thus, the humans are never at peace. On the contrary, the ghosts face no such desires. They have no reasons, interests, or necessity for such struggles. Thus, they live in peace. Next, in this stanza, Stanza 8, the poet highlights the influence of the celestial bodies on the human nature. Humans are full of desires, aspirations, and wants. They are greedy. Their jar of greed, which actually causes disturbance in their life, never gets filled. They keep seeking for more. The living are newer The living are never contented with what they have. কখনো সুখী নয় যা আছে তাই দিয়ে। They are curious to know more and get more. But the poet says that it is the influence of some unseen star or some undiscovered planet in the sky. It means that the human beings are perpetually struggling to know more things around them or even far in the sky. They are not contented with what they have. Stanza 9. The poet uses the beautiful images of a dark night, clouds, and the moon to express the elements of mystery and the unknown in relation with the human fancies. The moon that shines in the sky and peeps through an opening in the clouds shines brightly over a sea. This opening in the clouds is referred as a dark gate. The moonlight that illuminates the water of the sea is compared to a floating bridge. This bridge becomes a passage for the souls to travel from the sky into the human world. The planks of this imaginary lighted bridge seems to shake, but our imagination travels over them and reaches into the world of mystery. This world is unknown and beyond the reach of humans. Last stanza. The poet becomes reflective towards the end of the poem. He has hinted towards a spirit world present beyond the sky. From this world of spirits, there develops a connection with the human world. The light which falls from the sky onto this earthly earth works as a bridge for these phantoms into the dark, mysterious sky. The floor of the bridge is not firm, it is unsteady, which means that our fancy is not substantial and firm. It keeps shaking. Similarly, the bridge of light is not steady. It keeps swaying to and fro and bending on one side or other. Our thoughts travel through this bridge and moves unto the unknown, the unfathomable world which is dark and unclear.